So today we're going to take a look at a Paml Sap made by Green Man Leather from Ontario, Canada. It's just going to go over a quick review of it and take a look at some of its merits and a couple applications.
Go on home, British soldiers, go on home. Have you got no bloody homes of your own? For 800 years we fought you without fear, and we'll fight you for 800 more if you stay.
Alright, so I just got a new reproduction Paml Sap produced by Green Man Leathers out of Ontario, Canada. Don't know if you can see that or not. It's actually a pretty nice little vintage Paml Sap. This is a custom made one. He does them in different colors. He did this one with a Celtic design on there for me. I'm Irish, Irish and Scottish, got a lot of Celtic background, so this design was kind of custom made for me. I guess he does custom designs, everything that people order in. So this is a vintage Paml Sap. This has a good chunk of stainless in there, or not stainless, a chunk of steel in there. It's been stitched really nicely. Looks like it's going to hold together. Yeah, so the idea of this is, well, you can use it for tempering, doing some basic tempering drills. But the idea is just a strip of metal, sewn really well actually, strip of leather that slides over your hand. This groove here is to allow room for your thumb. You have to send them in advance your measurement of your palm, and then you've got a hard steel encasing in there. It doesn't weigh a lot. I kind of anticipated to weigh a little bit more, but I think realistically it's going to do the job if I needed it to be. I wouldn't mind carrying this instead of something like I guess a blackjack or a normal sap, because it's very inconspicuous. What is this? It doesn't look like a weapon, it doesn't look like anything that could be used for nefarious use. But yeah, I imagine in a situation where that's upside the head, in a bony kind of place, like a wrist, an elbow, back of the neck, it's going to give you a little extra impact pressure if you need that, right? On a place like a knee, I don't really feel it too much, but I imagine with a little bit of effort behind there, this the Paml Sap would definitely carry some impact. You can hear that. I don't want to damage this. It's nicely made, but yeah, it puts a nice little dent in the side here. So I guess that comes into play. That's a nice little Paml Sap. I want to play with it a little bit, and yeah, I'll continue. I'll see what its merits are and what its disadvantages are. I'm not just going to blow smoke right now. I'll tell you the truth, So yeah, this is one of the tires I have set up in my yard. Do a lot of Sinwali drills with it, boxing kind of stuff. Basically what I'm going to do is play around a couple angles on this that you can work with the sap. You should be able to use a couple overhand slapping motions. I will feel a lot of impact on here with my fingertips because it carries through. But I imagine in a real life situation, that's going to be on the head. That's not going to tickle, right? Hang a side hooking motion to that would be a nice carry through. But you definitely can feel that on your fingertips. Also, you're here. You can check that. Boom, underneath, right? That groin strike, it's not going to tickle. Again, so traditionally in a Cali, this would be like our Sinwali block, and then you're entering in, right? You're checking, backhanding, checking again, and entering in with that. Again, 1, 2, 3, across there. 1, 2, 3, up underneath. You could also 1, 2, 3, backhand with something like this. I like the Paml Sap because in traditional Cali, at least the way I've trained it, Penatuck boxing, that stuff is more of an American adaptation to it. This is very much more traditional, right? Traditional Filipino. So we're doing a little slapping motions, right? Depending on the instructor, some say that carries energy, that the fist redirects energy at you chromatically. I don't know how much of that believe, but the fact of the matter is, boom, is going to be a stopper, you know. Bang, it's going to be a stopper. Underneath is going to be a stopper. Or, in the case where pang, pang, backhand is going to be a stopper. And I've just covered all 4 angles, all 4 quadrants, right? 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. All with the Paml Sap. My hand's getting a little dirty from pounding on this guy, but the fact of the matter is, Paml Sap's a nice alternative for, I guess, a martial artist or somebody who's interested in self-defense. You know, it's a decent little tool. Now, it looks pretty well made. This is made custom to order. I asked them for the Celtic, I asked them for the tan, you know. I wanted personally something that wasn't going to stand out too much against my hand, you know. If I'm walking down the street in a nefarious part of town, you know, and this is all around my hand, people won't look at me too much, you know. It could just be a bandage. I could just have something wrapped around my hand. And if they try to mug me or something and I go give them a good little slap, you know. I got the hardest slap on the block. I'm the guy that knocks guys out with a slap, you know what I mean? So that's something that comes, that's part of the history of this, that the police used to use these. And they would walk up to, you know, an out-of-line pub, and there'd be a bunch of loudmouths there, and the guy who's beaking the most gets a slap upside the head, and the cop on the beat's the guy that can knock people out with a slap upside the head. So keep that in mind when you're looking at something like a Paml Sap. I really like saps. You know, they're a pretty humane alternative to a lot of impact weapons. You know, this in particular, the Paml Sap is very vintage. A lot of people don't even know about this anymore. It's not being manufactured by many people. Like I said, I got this from Steven there at Green Man Leather, and he manufactures these individually for people. I'll put his information up there if you want to look into getting one of these made or any of his saps. You know, he makes a really nice, really nice product. So yeah. I'm going to play with this a little bit, check out some different merits, different angles, different targeting, and play with it a little bit and continue on with this the review. Okay. So a basic warm-up drill I would do for a slapping kind of drill, any type of like slapping drill, not just with a Paml Sap, you know, is a double slap. So it's an index and a follow through, right? Index, follow through. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And this is like a very elementary way of checking or slapping something out of the way. Boom, over top. Trapping, over top. Checking how far away they are. Boom, over top, and hitting. So I guess that's a very first line of practice with something is just a slap, and stopping, slap, and stopping, stop. But then check and slap, check and slap, check and slap, check and slap. Then if you had the option of a partner or something to use where you could trap something out of the way, get an arm out of the way and come on top. Arm out of the way and come on top. Arm out of the way and come on top. And this is just tempered. You can do this with your empty hand. You will definitely, you know, temper your palms. You might actually get bruises. I've had bruises practicing on bags, doing slapping drills. Bang, bang, right? And the more you practice that, I don't want you to burst blood vessels or anything like that. The more you practice that with like a full intent, you could develop a fair amount of power with that. And that power generation is amplified when you get a tool like a sap in your hand or a Paml Sap, right? And you can just carry that through. So that's something to work with, play with at home. Keep it in mind. Start with an empty hand. If you decide to order a Paml Sap or two, one for each hand, you could do that. Bang, 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 right? So that's something to play with.
Sons, but every man will stand behind the men behind the wire. Proudly march behind our banner, firmly stand behind our men. We will have them free to help us build a nation once again. On the people